On the last episode of Hardcore Minecraft, we built this windmill and put a tiny micro farm inside it so we can get all the wheat, carrots, and potatoes we could ever need. We also did lots of work on our home island, pretty much terraformed the whole thing that was remaining, apart from this area right here, and I asked you if you had any ideas of what we could put here. But that video's not gone out yet, so, well, I guess we're going to have to come back to this later, aren't we? Because I've got absolutely no idea. But in this episode, we're going to be focusing over here behind the windmill. So we do need to get a bridge in over to this island because this island holds our mangrove tree farm. And hopefully at some point in future, we'll actually have a farm down there for the rest of the trees too. But for now, it is just our mangrove farm, and I want to turn this area here into some form of logging camp. Let me land here and we can have a proper look at it. So I want to get some kind of building up here, like a main structure, maybe a couple of other buildings, and we want to make this look like it's an area that's been used for logging. And the first thing we actually need to do before we can start any of that, strangely enough, is lots and lots of logging. I want to remove the trees from this area because I don't actually want it to be birch and spruce. No, not spruce. I don't want it to be birch and oak trees that are here. I do in fact want it to be spruce that's being cut down over this back side because I want to make a lot of use of podzol as well. But the good side of that is I'm almost out of oak and I'm pretty low on birch as well. So this should work out quite well for us. But once the trees over there are gone, I'm going to have a much better idea on the shape of the landscape. We'll be able to put in a proper windy path going up to the top. We can plan out our logging camp, and we're going to have a wonderful time doing so. And later on in the episode as well, I do actually want to do a little bit of adventuring. Yes, adventuring. We haven't done any of that for a while. Let's quickly land. That was a bit painful. But we haven't been adventuring for a while, and I still... Yes, I know. I still don't have a beacon. So, well, we're going to go to the Nether at some point, see if we can find a better fortress to try and get some wither skulls from. And now we've got our wings, that should be a lot easier. Well, all the trees have gone, and we can now see what we're working with. And there's a few bits we need to tidy up. I mean, there's a massive hole here for a start. We certainly don't want that. But instead of layering this with grass, we do actually want to use a lot of podzol over here. So, well, I guess we need to go find some podzol because I don't really have much right now. But before we do that, I should probably fix me wings and put away all this stuff. Our wings and our tools are healed. We've got a bunch of rockets. Let's go find ourselves a giant spruce forest, which I believe is just over here somewhere. Hopefully not too far away. And look at that. Only a couple of thousand blocks away, we can see one coming into view. Excellent. So I've got lots and lots of digging to do. I need to grab myself a whole bunch of podzol, and I'm probably going to grab some coarse dirt while I'm here too. And just like that, we have over a shulker's worth of podzol, and there's not a floating tree in sight. It all looks perfectly normal around here. See, look, you'd never know that I'd come by. Let's just put all them back. Yep, that's definitely how trees grow. Floating rocks as well. Perfect. But despite the unwelcome intrusion, that only took a few minutes, but we should have all we need now to sort out that landscape and make some progress on our logging camp. I'm an idiot. I just did all of that podzol collection, and it has actually just occurred to me that if I want podzol, I can just do that and then get all the podzol I need. Jeez, I mean, it's going to result in lots of trees that I need to cut down, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm pretty much out of spruce at the moment. And then, of course, we can replant them again, I guess, once I know where I actually want them for the logging camp. But yeah, for now, let's just get this place covered. Doing that with spruce trees was not the wise thing to do. That took quite a while, but I've also splashed about a bit of podzol elsewhere. We will spread that out further, but this, for now, will at least let us plan out our builds. And the first thing we're going to do is just work out a small house for a logger that lives up here on the hill. So let's just mark out a little bit of area here. This will probably change when we actually get to the build, but as long as we've got it in the right area, that should be fine. So we'll just have something like that over there, and then we also need a sawmill building. And where do we think that should go? To be honest, I'm thinking maybe just over here should be fine. So let's just put down a little area here where we can put one. So that's just going to be some kind of a barn type thing with a big saw inside. And then we're going to have paths that lead down this way. And that is, of course, going to go down to the coast where we'll put in a bridge across the top there. We've got a couple more paths about as well. And we've also got the actual entrance to our mangrove farm here. So we're going to need to hide that somehow. but I don't really know what to do with that, to be honest. We'll cover that one later. But I think what I'm going to do is get these buildings in, because once they're down, we're going to have a much better view of the area and what's left. We're going to know where to put tree stumps. We're going to need to know where to actually plant some more trees, because I do still want to have trees up here, of course. Probably a combination of some giant spruces and some smaller ones on the outsides. But first things first, let's empty all this rubbish and go grab some building materials for this house up here. So I think what we're going to do for this bit here is just make a small oak and stone building. We don't want it to be too big, just a small cottage here up on the hill, maybe with a bit of wood storage out the side, and then we're going to put in the big mill over there. So let's crack on and see how we go. Making some really good progress on the logger's hut over here. I do like the shape, I like how it's coming together, and I think this roof is going to work, but I do need to mix in a few other bits and bobs first. And for that, I think I'm going to use some moss. We're going to get some texture in there. We'll get a bit of overgrowth on the roof as well, and hopefully this is going to look awesome when we're done. There we go, that's looking much better. I'm actually really pleased with how this is coming out, and I think once we get a bit of forest around the back of this, and some cleared forest, I guess, in the front of it, as well as obviously the big saw and everything, this should actually look quite good up here. And if I sound surprised, it's because I am. I didn't really know what I was going to do up here, but it's certainly starting to come together. So let's get the barn up next, I think. I think we are just about done with our logging camp. We've managed to get the path all the way in here. I've been a little bit lazy with the trees. I want to put in some custom ones eventually, but, well, we all know how I feel about making custom trees. And to be honest, I just don't have the time right now. So we've just planted a variety of big and small spruce trees. We've got some chopped down ones. We've detailed the landscape. We've got wagons around the place. And even in the barn here, we have a big wood saw and a big pulley system to move it all around. We've got stacks of wood being used. And overall, I'm just really pleased with how this has come out. And when we look at the big picture, it actually looks very cool from over here as well. So overall, I'm very, very pleased, although we do still need to get the bridge in across here. But we're going to come back to that bridge later, because it's actually a couple of days later after the intro in real life now, and the other video has gone out. And you've all come up with an absolute buttload of ideas for what we could do down here. And I think I've finally made a decision. So there were lots of calls for a small campsite or a well or something down here, and to be honest, I do actually really like the idea of a well for over here. But that's not to say we're not going to use the campsite idea elsewhere. But I think a well over here and maybe a wagon over this side as well. People were suggesting wagons for sort of transporting the brewery goods and things like that. And I think a wagon down here with a well and just a nice little open area would look really cool. And then what we're going to do over here, where we have the sort of lake here, I want to put just a small fishing spot really. So it's just going to be a campfire, a few logs, a couple of trees and bushes and things. Nothing too major and no structures. But I think we're going to use the campsite idea over here, and that will actually complete this entire island. So I think the first thing we'll tackle will be the well over here. No idea what we're going to do for that. Let's just grab some stuff and start placing blocks. That's what we normally do. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get a small path in over this way. And this torch is going to have to move, because I think what I want to do is put the well in right here. Question is, how are we going to do this? Let's maybe make a little square first and figure it out from there, I guess. And then maybe we should have some wooden bits in here, and then some kind of pulley system in the middle here for actually doing the things, getting the water and whatnot. Although I'm not sure on that. Maybe we need something a little bit higher up here. And we do, of course, also need to figure out what we want to do for a roof. I have no idea how we're going to do this. Maybe we could do something like this, potentially. Yeah, I think that roof works quite well. It could do with a bit of texturing. Maybe we can get a bit of foliage and a bit of overgrowth on there as well. But overall, I'm very pleased with that. Maybe maybe we should put a bit of support on the side here as well. I think all it potentially needs is maybe just some stairs on these bits here. And we should probably replace the fences we've got jammed in here as well. They don't really look right. There we go, that's better. So let's just quickly mess up the roof a little bit. We'll get some foliage on here and maybe have that breaching down the sides as well. And I have actually pushed this down a little bit here so that we can do that and get a bit of water in there. Perfect. And maybe what we could also do actually is waterlog some of these stairs in the area just to make it look like there's some puddles around the well as well. Perfect. And then we just maybe need a little bit of foliage around here as well just to sort out the last little bit of this coastline. Get a little bit of coarse dirt mixed up in this and some finishing details. Can we put a lantern there? We can't. Ah, that's a shame. I mean, we could hang one from here, I guess. Yeah, that works. But we'll also mix in a little bit of mud and some spruce into the path as well. Got to make sure we're being consistent. So with the well looking pretty good, I think what I want to do now is get a wagon in over here. So first things first, let's make a nice little area for it. So that was simple enough. Now to get a wagon in here. So first up, we need some wheels. And then let's put the bottom part in. And maybe we should have a couple of trapdoors sticking out the back as well. Have some handles on the front there for giving it a pull. And I want to load this up with barrels and maybe a chest or two as well. In fact, we're going to need to potentially put some seats on the front of that. Let's use some dark oak. And we'll get a couple of chests on there as well, and maybe a lantern. Do we have a lantern? We do. Perfect. And I reckon if we use some signs like this, we can make it look like it's all being held in nicely. Well, I think the wheels do look better at the back here, so let's actually just move this back by one. Perfect. I say perfect. It would be more perfect if I actually used the right trapdoor. There we go. Excellent. And I think while we're in wagon mode, let's just add a couple of wagons about the place to add a bit of life as well, shall we? Just 4 trapdoors. We want 3 of those, a gate on the front, and then we'll just load it up with a couple of stuff and things. It's a good place to put lanterns, actually, and maybe a chest on the front as well. Perfect. Look at that. Cheeky little wagon. And I think I'm going to put another one here as well outside the blacksmith. And there we go, another wagon with a saw on the back. It's these little details like this that really do bring life to the village. I think that might be the first time I've actually called it a village. Are there enough buildings now for it to be a village? Probably. But enough getting distracted with wagons. I think that's looking pretty good. I think we can finally say that this part of the island is done. It's just that bit at the back there now. Let's quickly go sort something out with some campfires and whatnot. So up here, the first thing I want to do is just put in a small path to where the camping area is going to be, which is going to be right around here. So let's just mark out an area roughly around here. And we want to make sure there's like a little path up to the lake as well. Literally just going to dump a campfire right there, I think. Mix in a little bit of coarse dirt. Get a barrel down, of course. And we want to give them some seats, so maybe we should actually use spruce slabs potentially. Yeah, I think they work quite well actually. Get a couple more barrels, we'll have some extra firewood. Let's put those out. In fact, that one's not in a very good place. Let's put that over here. Of course, we're going to need a lantern as well. Let's put one on there. Get some coarse dirt on the path like always. We love a bit of coarse dirt. And then maybe we'll add in a couple of fences just for a little bit of safety. Although I don't like those fence gates. Let's get rid of those. Stick with some normal fence, I think. A little bit more foliage. A little bit of bone meal, of course. Got to get those grass bits in. And then we'll put a few little tankards laying around as if they've been up drinking all night. That's just witchcraft, not there. Maybe put one there instead. And perfect, we have a little campsite over here. And I think with that, this island might actually now be finished, which has been a long time coming, to be honest. But yep, I think we are actually done. Our starter island is now officially complete, although I might mess around with the coastline here and there a little bit. There's a couple of bits that could probably do with tidying up. But overall, I'm really pleased with how this area has turned out. It's been a lot of fun building here. But now the fun is over. We need to go to the Nether. We need to try and find ourselves a better fortress. And of course, get some wither skulls, because I still don't have a beacon. And we should at least start making some progress towards getting that, right? And hopefully I've got everything on me I'm going to need in order to stay alive. But I'm sure we'll find out soon, won't we? So my thinking is we've gone exploring that way. We've gone that way a little bit as well. But we haven't really been in this direction. So, well, wish me luck. I'm going to make sure I've got my potions a little bit more handy than I currently do, and maybe some blocks handy as well. I'm sure this will be fine. Oh, it's a dead end. And there it is, our third skull. Amazing. Now we just need to try and find our way home. I have absolutely no idea how to get home. Well, we made it home. We have our 3 wither skulls around us, and I will, of course, be using them to fight a wither and get ourselves a beacon. Just not right now. Because right now, we've got a bridge to build over here. And a short while later, we've now got all of the path connected up. We can get all the way up to the logging camp. We have this wonderful bridge here, which I'm actually very pleased with. It was kind of off the cuff, but I like how it's come out. It's fairly basic, but at the same time, if we have a look from the side here, I think it is actually looking quite cool and works nicely and just helps to tie in this last area to the rest of our build. But that's quite a lot of work for today. I'm very pleased with how that's come out, and to be honest, I'm quite pleased I survived the Nether as well. I really don't like that place. But I hope you have enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye now.